Hey, so Hill, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity to view your swing here at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position, and we'll take a look at a few things for you. Okay, so while we got you back here in your setup, let's just go ahead and do a little split screen comparison with you and Jordan Spieth. First thing I want to talk about, now we got some color-coded lines on the screen here. Let's take these away for a second. First thing I want to talk about has to do with posture. So your spine's nice and straight. It's on a tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. You hang your arms down off your tilted spine, and the club works out to the ball. So pretty good position here. What I want you to do, though, is I want you to try and... Sorry, I got rid of that line. There we go. I want you to basically try and push your tail out and up. Push your sternum out, up, and forward. And what that's going to do, it's just going to increase the angle to your spine just a little bit. From there, we can keep your legs exactly where they are. I would like your arms to hang down a little bit more naturally, so your hands are a little bit closer to your thighs, letting the club work out to the ball. So increasing the angle relationship sort of in here between your arms and the club. But I also need to get your arms in the right position. So you can see that, you know, the yellow stick man that I've drawn on the screen has a little bit more resemblance to the left side with Jordan Spieth. Okay? So a subtle refinement in your posture is ideal, but in this setup, very, very critical that you get your shoulders and arms more square to your feet. So your feet are going in a pretty good direction. I mean, if we draw a line on your toes, we carry that to the fairway. Theoretically, club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera have an appearance to converge. So we can see here that, I mean, you're pretty much set up right down the center of the fairway. So your feet are in great alignment. The problem is the rest of your body starts to open up. So we can see a little bit of your left leg back here. That tells us that your knees are going a little left of your feet, your hips are going left of your feet, and now look at your upper body. See how we can see your left arm here? There's no way we should be able to see your left arm there. That tells us if I were to lay an alignment tool over your forearms are going way left. Okay? And so are your shoulders. So your upper body is stacked completely open and to the left of your lower body. We need all these lines running in the same direction as yellow. Okay? So what you got to do is when you get in the right posture, you get your tail out, your sternum out, relax your hands towards your kneecaps a bit. What we got to do is we got to take your shoulders and we have to turn them clockwise quite severely to get them squared up. And what you have to understand is that how you align your shoulders and arms at address influences how this golf club wants to come back. So you're very likely going to take this club way outside the golf ball. It's not going to swing back on proper plane. It's not going to swing inside. It's not going to swing on an arc. Okay? And that's what a golf swing is. It's a circular motion. So we can clearly see with Jordan on the left side of the screen, right? We can't see his left arm underneath his right arm. So his forearms and his shoulders are perfectly running parallel to his feet. So very, very important for you to achieve that. Next thing I want to look at, which obviously I would typically look at from face on, I am going to just point this out because I can see it's incorrect from this vantage point anyways, is that your grip, we need to fix up your grip. So right now you have a split-handed grip, your hands are connected. Your left hand's very weak on the club, and I'm not referring to your pressure. It's weak because it's rotated too far to the left. It's starting to rotate underneath the club. As is your right hand is rotated to the right, and it's working underneath the club. So we have to make sure we get the club in the fingers. We have to make sure we get proper positioning, because if we don't have a proper grip, it's going to inhibit certain things in the golf swing. And one of the things it's going to affect is your wrist hinge. And we'll go ahead and check this out in a few seconds here. Okay, so talked about the posture, refining it. Got to get the arms and shoulders in the right position. And then from there we can build a golf swing. So because you're set up like this, we're going to see that you don't really have that much of a chance to swing the golf club on proper plane. So let me go ahead and let's bring Jordan up with his plane lines. I'm not sure why that didn't populate on the left side of the screen either. Let's try that one more time. Okay, so anyways, I'll bring you up on the left. I'm not sure why that is frozen there. There we go. Okay, so we've got the plane lines on the screen. Well, what's supposed to happen in the golf swing? Well, simply we turn our shoulders, we draw our arms and hands back as well as the club, and the club should come back along the red line. That means the club is swinging back on proper swing plane. And the club's working on an arc. So where's the club head relative to the ball right now? It's inside. Well, watch where your club goes. Because your shoulders and arms are open, your hands go out away, and you take the shaft and the club outside of the swing plane, and also outside of the ball. Okay? So one of the things you have to do is, once you get set up properly, learn to just simply swing your hands, arms, and golf club inside and around you. Again, golf swing is a circular motion, and a circle doesn't work out away from our core. It works around our core. Okay? From here, as we continue with the backswing on the right side of the screen, we now need to incorporate good wrist hinge into play, which means we have to transition the club head currently from below and in front of our hands to getting this club above and behind our hands. Very, very important transitional move in the takeaway. All the while, notice, the club shaft is still on the red line. So with you, we're going to come back. We're not going to see any wrist hinge because we don't have a proper grip. Okay, so we're very stiff forearmed with the club. Okay, the club head's not getting above and behind the hands, and it's still not on plane, obviously, because it went outside. So right about here, the club starts to get above and a little bit behind, but still with no wrist hinge at all. So from here on the right side of the screen, we now want to work the club, maximizing the wrist hinge, and working the club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. So you can see how much more wrist cock he has. When we get to the top of the backswing, we either want to have the left arm of the club situated on the yellow line, anywhere in between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue, as we see with Jordan Spieth. For most amateur players, I prefer you guys to be on the yellow line. And the reason for that is it's just easier for you guys to return the club back to red, back to on plane coming into the ball, from yellow versus blue. Okay? The other thing we notice is that we have full shoulder rotation, stable right side, and we're maintaining our posture, that spinal axis we achieved at address. So again, we can see you're still very stiff-wristed with the club. Your shoulders are doing a good job. They're turning. Pretty stable on your right side. You start to stand up out of your golf shot a little bit here. Still no wrist hinge. Right here, now your wrists start to give in a little bit. I think your subconscious brain is realizing, hey, my arms can't go anywhere else. How am I going to get the club back further? And that's one of the things that wrist hinge does. Wrist hinge does two primary things. It creates club travel in the backswing so we don't have to create excess arm travel. And it creates club head speed swinging through. So it'd be like throwing a ball. If I pulled my arm back to throw a ball and I didn't cock my wrist, I would have no speed to snap through at the last second. So you have to create wrist hinge. Wrist hinge is the exact same thing. So right here, you're starting to soften your wrist. You're getting a lot of wrist hinge late in the golf swing. So if you're eventually going to get wrist hinge, learn how to achieve it earlier on. Okay? So I like the top of your backswing. Good turn. Your arms are in good geometry relative to your core. Nice triangular position. Club's in good position relative to the arms. Pretty stable right side. And notice your left arm's on the yellow line. So I like where you are. From here, as we create our transition back on the ball, looking at the right side of the screen again, simply want to take our weight from our right foot, move it to the left, fire the knees and the hips laterally to the target, unwind the core, and fire the hands. And in doing so, we want to make sure we're bringing the club from that blue-yellow V zone back down onto red, which is where the club originated. And that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. The golf club has returned back to plane. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead forearm and the club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. This simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing, let alone also his ability to hit the ball straight due to the fact that, again, the club has returned back to plane, which is a main criteria in producing straight golf shots. This position right here is the most important position in a golf swing. The club is returned back to plane, therefore it's going to give us power, and it's going to allow us to hit the ball straight based on our alignment. I want to come back down to address for a second. I'd stipulate when we bring the club back, a very important move is creating wrist hinge and getting the club from currently below and in front of our hands to getting the club above and behind. So here we go again. We get the club above and behind the hands. Club's on this red line the whole time. Well, guess what? When we get to here, what position are we in? We're in the exact same position we're in pre-impact. The only difference is we have more hinge coming into the ball because we still haven't yet completed the backswing, and there's an athletic move to the ball, so there's more retaining of angle. So that's why the left forearm is going to be down further with the club still in the exact same spot. So we get to the top of the backswing, then we move that club from the blue-yellow V zone right back into the exact same position we had it in coming back. Okay? That's how critical that position is right there. So let's watch you create your transition into the ball here. Your hands come over the top. So you're moving your hands from below yellow, out to blue. So that has a major influence on the golf club. So now, if we go ahead and track your club head here, first of all, we can clearly see that the club is not returning back to plane. And what we are going to see is the club just continues to move further out in front of you. So we go to the next frame. Actually, I should have just marked it from here, but let's go to the next frame. It goes to here, and then gets outside the ball. So if I just connect the dots, this will give you a very good visual sense as to just how steep that club came into the ball due to the over-the-top move. And this is going to influence the swing path. So again, with Jordan Spieth, we can clearly see the club return to plane here, and it continues to attack the golf ball from this red line. And as I stated earlier, this is why he hits straight golf shots in accordance to his alignment. Assuming lastly that the club face squares up via having a good grip. So at this point in time, we can see the downswing planes are vastly different. Therefore, so are the swing paths. So his club is inside the ball, expands out to make contact, moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is outside the ball, dropping down and across to make contact. Look how aggressive that club's moving that way. So very simply put, I mean, if you square the club face up to that path, you'll hit it solid, but where's the ball going to go? Yeah, I mean, that ball's going to go way left on you. And if you happen to release the club on the same red path, well, now you're imparting right to left spin, and it's going to turn into a pull draw or a pull hook. It's going even further left. So your subconscious brain through almost every swing is going to say, hey, I'm swinging hard left. I better leave the face open because the target's out to the right, and hopefully that'll allow you to block the ball a little bit right of that, impart a little bit of left to right spin, and everything's great, and you can fade or slice the ball on line. But if you happen to leave the club face too open, incredibly, you can start the ball even further right, even though you're swinging way left. At that point in time, we've got to realize the face is massively open, and we're going to hit a block slice. So the end result of your golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face. Because the club is attacking the ball from outside, striking the ball and moving to the inside, if we square the face up, it follows red. Over release the club, it continues down the smaller red arrows. You probably don't see that often because I guarantee you leave the face open through impact. If you leave it too open, again, it follows blue. Time it properly, it will follow yellow in some way, shape, or form. So at this point in time, let's just go ahead and see where your club face was through impact. And it is open. So look at where your ball's starting. You're swinging way left, but look at where your ball starts. So your ball is starting out over here. Definitely not starting as left as where you're swinging. So that ball is going to get out in the air here. It's going to have left to right spin, and that ball is going to have some kind of fading action. So if the timing's on, everything will turn out just fine. The problem is when the timing's not on, like I said, we're going to have a lot of discrepancies on your left to right tendencies with how that ball flies. Okay? As you come through, looks like you're doing some pretty good job with your right foot and your footwork, carrying yourself through a good finish. Looks really, really nice. Overall, there's some nice athletic qualities with your golf swing. I mean, your hands work really well. They come back, they fire through. Your core works well. You coil, you uncoil. You got good footwork allowing you to get through to a good finish. So you have some nice general athletic qualities to your golf swing. But what do we need to change? Need to revise the posture a little bit. Need to fix your grip. Then we need to learn how to swing the golf club inside and around us to initiate the takeaway. Top of the backswing's pretty solid. And at that point in time, really it's going to come down to you reducing your over-the-top move right here, attacking the ball too steep, out to in, and swinging way left, trying to leave the face wide open. Okay? Because again, like I said, if we want consistency, 3 things we need. We have to aim well, bring the club down on plane, square the face up. Unfortunately, you're aiming a little bit left, not that big of a deal. Downswing plane is definitely over the top. At that point in time, you now have to compensate with the club face by trying to leave it wide open, and hopefully you can hit a power slice back on line. Okay? If at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments and you're looking for a unique gift to give your guests, feel free to touch base, and I'd be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.